Shalom. All praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahwashai, Ba'asham Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well, pushing this 100% truth of the gospel, waking up and sealing the elect of the nation of Israel through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahwashai. And salutations to all your sincere Akim that are pushing this gospel in all righteousness and in all sincerity, risking your lives and your freedom to do so. Alright, this is your brother about one on the another lesson right here. Okay, so first of all, I'll start with the book of Revelation 13, verse 16, and it reads, And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the name of the beast or the number of his name. This right here is the mark of the beast scripture, going into right the future Bible prophecy in which Esau Edom, right, which is that fourth beast, okay, that red dragon, is going to institute the going to create is going to enforce or institute a decree in which everybody must take in the mark of the beast in either in within their bodies, either in their hands or in their foreheads or any other part of their body. I wish you know that mark of the beast is the RFID microchip. Okay, and right now what Esau is doing is that he's preparing the infrastructure, or rather, he's preparing, right, to he's preparing all the instruments. That's what I said. The infrastructure that he needs to cheap people, or that he needs in order to make this mark of the beast work. Okay, that's why you have your 5G towers going up. So you have this digital currency blowing up currently. Okay, you see, it's something funny. Okay, you see major companies, Mastercard, Tesla, Elon Musk, all these other companies. They are putting millions into Bitcoin right now. All of them are. That's why. Well, that's why, and even the apostle Tara mentioned this. That's why Bitcoin increased from 11,000 to like 30,000 in just a week, because all these major companies are putting a lot of money into this Bitcoin right now and increasing its value. All right, and that's why you see Russia and China implementing the digital yuan and digital rubles. Okay, because the Israel is preparing the whole earth for this mark, and that's why you see this C-19 vaccination going around and people getting injected. And Israel is slowly easing those draconian decrees that would make it so that if you do not have a vaccine, or you don't, if you are not taking this vaccine, then you can't get the job. If you're not taking the vaccine, you can't go to the supermarket. All right, so I have an article right here. Okay, because some people, people like to believe that this mark of the beast thing is only going to happen in first world or developed countries, like not going to come to the third world, or it's not going to come to places like Africa, because because of because they believe that Esau's hand doesn't extend up to here. But that's not actually the case. Okay, because you see that even in third world countries, that Esau is already preparing these nations to he's already preparing the nations for when he starts pushing that RFID microchip, which is the mark of the beast. It starts pushing that mark of the beast. And this is an article that let me just read the title. Nigerians plan to replace bank IDs with digital ID numbers. And if you know what this is going back to ID 2020, which is Bill Gates, Bill Gates and co. They wanted everybody on the whole planet, right, to have a digital identification by 2020. Okay, so what Esau is doing is that he's trying to get everybody on the grid. Okay, trying to get everybody basically. Yeah, that basically he's trying to get everybody on the grid. Before he pushes this mark of the beast, trying to get. They're trying to know exactly how many people are on the planet, so that he'll know how he can implement this mark of the mark of the beast. So what I'll do is I'll read a little bit of this article. Okay, so right, it reads: the federal government authorities in Nigeria say talks are ongoing with various stakeholders to see how biometric backed bank verification numbers, or BVNs, can be integrated with and replaced by national identification numbers, NINs. The BVN is a scheme introduced by the Central Bank of Nigeria with the goal of protecting bank account holders. And that's right. You see, this is how Esau is going to get so many people to take that mark of the beast through the banks. Okay, they lock up the money that you have in the bank to tell you that, unless you have this mark of the beast, you're not really going to be able to access that money. Unless you have this, you're not going to be able to access that money. That's exactly what Esau did, I believe that was a decade ago. So I cannot a decade ago. It was actually 5 to 6 years ago. During 2015, 2016, when they first introduced these BVNs, okay. Every single bank account holder in Nigeria has to have these BVN numbers before they could have access to their bank accounts. They caused a lot of problems during that time. But anyway, that's beside the point. But so now Esau has so now the Nigerian government, okay, I want to say Esau, but but we all know who is behind this, and who is behind this, okay. But basically the Nigerian government now wants to add an extra layer to it by introducing these NINs, which are national identification numbers, which is basically going to national ID for every citizen. This is the number that this is the digital ID number. I think it is something like the social security number that they have in Babylon. But now, so now, these banks are forcing almost every Nigerian, or rather every account holder in Nigeria, bank account holder in Nigeria, to get a national ID card so they can get this NIN number and register it with their banks. The same thing is happening with SIM cards. Okay, these mobile phone companies. Okay, these service providers. The tele so okay, I've forgotten the term that they use for this, for the SIM card companies. Like the ones that we have here in Nigeria, MTN, Glo, and the like, that makes SIM cards. But basically, they did the exact same thing. They said that you have to use your NIN to register your SIM card before they can actually work, before you can make calls with it, or before you can use the data connections, to browse with it. And that's what right is going. That's what is being implemented right now right now in Nigeria. They are using little things, everyday things that you need in order to survive in this, that you need in order to function in this world, right now, to force you to get that digital idea. We all know that it's all leading up to the mark of the beast, okay, the RFID microchip, because pretty soon they're going to say, let's put all this information in the RFID chip and let's put it inside your body, okay, so that you're not able to lose it, so that you have it with you, it won't be hacked and all this. They make, as he just said, that he spoke great things, okay, that he performed miracles and spoke great things that made people say, who is like, and let me get that preset as well, who is like unto the beast. They make it, I think that's even the same Revelations, and they make it fire fall from heaven and all that. And yeah, it is right. This is the book of Revelations 13 verse 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. He had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Right, and this is speaking of Esau Edom. With his draconian legislations, okay, with his laws that he makes. Okay, with the laws that he makes, which is going back to draconian laws. You already know, right? The apostles already read it out a lot of times before, that the draconian laws go back to an Athenian lawmaker called Draco, and it also not. Let me get the definition of draconian real quick. So yeah, no want to butcher it. Okay, so draconian. Okay, the etymology is from Athenian lawmaker Draco, known for making harsh laws, and it reads very severe or strict. That's basically it. Okay, this is what Esau is doing right now, because you see, right, what's going on with the whole, with places like London, or so I should say the UK being locked down, and they say that the lockdown will not ease up until April, because and that's what Esau has been doing. He has been extending and pushing forward the deadline, constantly pushing it forward up until and who knows, during that April time they might push it forward as well. They're making different draconian laws right now, okay, especially for this infection, which we already know is not as severe as he is making it out to be, okay. So going on, Revelation 13 verse 12, and he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And this is speaking about what the first beast is. That's right. That what's the term? Yeah, Greco-Roman. No, I think just the Roman Empire. Okay, and the next beast that has been brought up is what this current Roman Empire. This I do not know the other to use this new Roman Empire. Yeah, okay, because we already know about the story of the Dark Ages. Okay, how the Dark Ages and the Holy Roman Empire, how Rome and how Rome was taken over by Jake, right, and up until the rising of the Byzantine Empire, which was also taken over, which was also ruled by Jake, and the original English, French, Spanish, German, and Irish, Scottish, all these countries, the original inhabitants, the original kings of these countries, the people that created and ruled over these countries first were Jake, okay, up until the Renaissance, which of course, if you go back to if you go into the word Renaissance, it means the rebirth. When Esau had come back into power and taken in his and come back into power, now what has he done? He has brought back all the decrees, okay, all the ways of the Roman Empire currently to this world, okay, because during the time of the Roman Empire, you saw it clearly, okay. And you can look this up even in the book of Maccabees. The book of First Maccabees, it shows you this, that they practiced democracy. They had a senate that appointed their leader. It shows you that what your vote does not matter, okay. It is the senate, the senators that choose who the leaders is. And even to if you really want to get into deep into it, it's the international bankers, okay, the Rothschilds, those banking families, the Jewish banking families that choose, all right, the leaders of these countries, okay. And that's why you see that during the Dark Ages, right, that you had kings ruling, not presidents, not emperors, not a senate or anything like that, because what the world was being ruled by Jake during that time, and they went back to the way that they went back to the way that the world should rightfully be ruled, which are through kings, okay. So going on, and from Revelation 13 verse 13 now, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by means of those miracles which he had power to do in his sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a deadly sword and did live, okay. That's what you see right now going on the earth. He's doing all these miracles, promising all these great things, okay. So people so people would fall for him. They will fall for his deceits, and what he'll follow. And so can we go back? You follow, his agenda. They'll follow his agenda wholeheartedly, not knowing that it is a way that leadeth to destruction, okay. So now let me continue on with this article a little bit. Nigerians, The Guardian reports that Communications and Digital Economy Minister Dr. Isa Pantami made the disclosure recently as he visited some NIN enrollment centers in the capital Abuja to take the pulse of how the enrollment process is unfolding so far. Pantami noted that biometric data is not consistently captured during registration processes, with the number of fingerprints collected sometimes varying, which makes it difficult to integrate the various systems, which is all bullshit, of course, but they have to make an excuse as to why they want to implement this digital ID, which is what they'll use. They'll say that the biometric, which is taking up your fingerprints, that is not reliable enough. They'll make different excuses as to why they don't want to use fingerprints anymore, which is even what ISO is doing currently. They say that fingerprints aren't as secure as they used to be, so now you have to use a new method, which is these digital IDs, which is setting up a database for yourself online, and then have that database that you have online as your digital ID uploaded into or programmed into the chip and put in your arm, and that way you have your identification card with you. How convenient is that? And this is how this devil will deceive so many people, telling that it is convenient, okay. And even with the Neuralink technology, which is also a part of the mark of the beast technology, so many people right now believe that Elon Musk is actually trying to create the technology that can do all these miracles, heal people with paralysis, or as cure or prevent or even minimize the effects of these diseases like Alzheimer's and dementia, okay. And this is how he's going to get so many people, and I've already said this multiple times, but through these miracles, okay, through these deceits, right, just tricking people that he's trying to do, all right, they're trying to make a better place. But we already know what these devil okay how these devils work, okay. Forgers of lies, physicians of no value. That is what they are. To continue, the federal government move to see BVN replaced with by NINs is being made because the BVN is just a bank policy, unlike the NIN, which is mandatory and provided for by law. Alright, so we discussed with CBN governor today. Let me just skip this part. And the report has that the idea of replacing the BVN with the NIN was re-echoed by the minister during a recent presentation he made to the National Economic Sustainability Committee. More than 4 million BVNs were reported to have been issued as of late last year. And this is what, the world, and this is just all part of preparation for the mark of the beast. What I have here is ID 2020. I don't know if you remember, last year. Of course you should, but that during they had something called ID 2020, and that was going to more of the I want to say algorithm for the mark of the beast. Preparing the way for the mark of the beast. Right, and I'm on the website right now, and it's talking about what the need for digital ID, and it goes into how the people need to identify them. The people need to be able to identify themselves, especially now that the world is going so-called digital. And this is all just what this was way of trying to get everybody on the grid, so that it will be far more easier for him to implement the mark of the beast. First, which would basically be, slowly, but slowly from from suggesting people have it within, from suggesting that people have it, to forcing them to take the mark of the beast, in their right hand or in their forehead. And when this time comes, okay, when the time of the when the time that Israel starts to really starts to push this chip comes, you're going to see you're going to see a lot of people bug out because they are not prepared for this, even though one of the major prophecies that we are waiting for right now, and we are constantly bringing in touch. Every week, new information about the mark of the beast is coming out. But we've already said this so many times, that the mark of the beast is the RFID microchip. Okay, there can be nothing else. The breakdowns are all clear. Everything makes sense. Okay, from from what actually is in the scriptures. And let me get that. Revelation 13 verse 16. From what it actually is in the scriptures, which the mark, going into the Greek charagma. All right, charagma. Let me go to that. Here it is, a mark, and the meaning of the mark is
Strong's G 5480 charagma.
All right, Strong G 5480. Here it is charagma, which is a stamped and imprinted mark of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as the badge as of the followers of the Antichrist, which is of course is false. But anyway, the mark branded upon horses, things carved, sculpture, graven work. Okay, which is what telling you that it is something that it is a physical mark, and it is going to be inserted into you. Okay, which is the exact thing that is which is what that RFID, all right, microchip is. It is going to be inserted into you as well, and it has all the makings for the mark of the beast. All right, whether it's it has the mark of the 666, which goes in, and let me go into that one as well. Chi Psi stigma. All right, that's exactly what. Let me just go to it, and you see it right here. Chi Psi stigma. Okay.
Strong's G 5516. Chi Psi stigma. Chi Psi stigma.
And you see it right there, Chi Psi stigma. The 666, which of course you should see it on these I think they call them ISBN. No, they call them the ISBN numbers, which what is. And I think I should go to that, but let me just leave it there. Okay, so everything is just, so all roads, okay, everything that is going on right now is leading up in one way, shape or form to this mark of the beast, because Esau knows that this is the one way in which he can have that rulership over the earth. As written in the book of Job chapter 20, that say that when that while he is eating, that's going to something else. I mixed it up. My brother's going to something else, but he knows that this is the only way in which he can have that dominion over the earth the way that he does. Going into the book of Second Thessalonians chapter 2, that he exalted and he exalted him, he opposed and exalted himself as the Most High. Okay, as well, I have to go to that. Okay, I think I made a mistake there. Okay, it is Second Thessalonians 2 verse 4. Who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, that is so that he, as the Most High, seated in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High. And this is all for this devil's God complex, because they want to have everybody on the planet in perpetual servitude. They want to create their own version of the kingdom of heaven on earth, but we already know that it is going to fail. Okay, so I'm not going to end it right there. I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai, Ba'asham Rachak Wadash, Wa Abad Babal, Shalom.